deal with you off one.
Happy Friday and good evening to you. Hello, new camera that I put way too up high. How's the weather up there? I hope it is good. We have a show. That is ready to get started, and it is about to get started right about now. Good evening, everybody. I am Mr. First Down. Welcome to Fanboys Unleashed as Sam versus Camera Part 2. Get started here. There we go. Look at us. Look at us here. Hey, we did it. We did it, everybody. We've effected change. This is where it's supposed to be. My co-host is running behind here, so I'm manning the helm. But thank God I've got the birthday boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. He is my co-host for the wrestling show on the Let's Talk Sports Network, On the Mat. We are both avid LA Knight fans. We are both avid wrestling fans. We are both avid sports fans. He is a Cowboys fan. I am a Titans fan. What an unlikely pair. But hey, let's go ahead and bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Perez. He is turning 32 Sunday. Happy birthday to you, to him. What's up, Alan?
And just by wearing the merch, I just increased your viewership.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Charlotte was right. You do that really well. You know, I'm happy about that.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Alan, it's great to have you on. Thank you for coming on. Hope your back's feeling better.
It would be nice to be on my actual computer if my internet didn't decide to, hey, we're gonna turn off for the rest of the night. Wonderful. Awesome.
Computers have
That's okay. My back was acting up anyway. So I guess as a silver lining, it lets me relax comfortably in my 2-seat recliner that has cup holders.
Absolutely. Well, how's your birthday weekend going? To ask that question.
I mean, I haven't really done anything yet. All I've done today was just essentially work, but probably going to be having lunch with my mom. Probably going to be spending the day with my mom tomorrow, and then just spend time with family. But
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
family's important. Sucks that my other family is about an hour or so away. I won't be able to travel because cost expenses. I'm technically not working right now, although I am on the side. But because of that, it's money's hard to come by, and I kind of have to save as much as I can. So.
Well, I hope you get to feeling better soon. We'll get this surgery done, and hopefully it gets you back on your feet and back to getting some of that dough in your pocket.
I've heard that on the lighter chance, it's 4 to 12 weeks recovery time, but if it's really severe, it could be 3 to 6 months. So I'm hoping it's not severe.
Yeah,
I don't think I would be able to go 6 months without a job.
No, I don't think any of us would. I think it's time for you to hang him up and just sell everything you own and start over in Tennessee. Come on in, buddy. We got you.
I mean, if you're willing to move me out there, I'll just grab a backpack and head that way.
I would before the children came. The children.
Well, okay. All you have to do is wait another 18 years and get the children out of the house, and then we
I'll
can
see you in 18 years, buddy. I'll see you.
See you in 18 years.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just build. You could just build a house right next to yours and just move me into that.
Isn't this
either
how
that or get a camper? One of the two.
Seems like this is how you start a horror movie. Seems like it. Totally seems like it.
No, this is how robberies start.
Oh, Rob. Oh, great. Great. You're going to take my $5 out of my wallet. My wife has everything else, but she won't give it to you. You'll have to kill her. Anyway. But it's great having you on. So
she's your breadwinner, I see.
Oh, yeah. You kidding? Yeah, your breadwinner. We'll go ahead and kind of get into the show now that you're done insulting me, or you've only just begun. I can never tell. We'll go ahead and start.
This is what happens when I'm not the host. I just lashed out at you.
You just keep hurting me, and now I'm stuck here. So,
it's all this pent-up aggression from how you try to take over my show.
I don't take it over. I enhance it, buddy. I enhance it. Me, I am the talent.
It is wonderful. It is a wonderful show. So, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely go watch it.
Yeah, on the Mat LTS show. You'll find us tomorrow talking about this SmackDown. Yes, boy. Anyway, so we love it.
One of them gets busted open. I forget which one. I think it's Elton Prince. That gets busted open. So, keep watching for that.
Kind of people. You can read people's body language a little bit here, and you can tell everybody's a little tense after the firings. But you can kind of see it.
Yeah. So what is it that Heyman said? Every day is a job interview for you to come back on the next show.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think that's fair. No, it's Axiom. Well, Fraxium. Sorry, Fraxium. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and get this started. The Cowboys had a draft. Apparently, you drafted somebody.
Among other things.
Yep. Tyler Booker. You like? Do you wish it was somebody else?
I mean, it's the obvious pick, right? Because you need to fill that hole at right guard. So, which it kind of was. I guess you could say it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Although had Ted McMillan been there, had T-Mac been there at 12, they have said that they would have taken T-Mac at 12 had he not got taken by Carolina.
Sure.
So you were either going to get a bona fide number 2 wide receiver, or you got a starting right guard. So,
right.
It's the fact that now you have 3 offensive linemen with the first name Tyler, so now you just got to call them by their last names.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, the host of Head Kicks and Haymakers. If you love a UFC fight, check out Head Kicks and Headmakers on the Boston show. You find it on his face.
Haymakers.
Am I not saying Haymakers? Head Kicks and Haymakers.
You said Headmakers. Head Kicks and Headmakers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Anyway, check out anything Boston.
He's still full of cheese.
My personal favorite is him and Johnny Cruz have a variety show on Sunday, and I really enjoyed that. That makes me nice. All Cowboys O-line named Tyler. Sounds about right. Titans finish more wins than Cowboys. I hope so, man. We shall see. We did some film study on Cam Moore today, and I feel a little bit better. A little bit. I feel better than Will Levis. I'll tell you that. So it doesn't take much now, does it?
Yeah, anyway. We'll see. There is I did think the Giants had a good draft, so that does make me a little nervous. I don't know how Washington's going to do in that second year, because usually with Washington as of late, it's been they have one good year and then they start to tamper off for the next 5. So if they can break that trend, I might have to start. If they break that trend, I'll have to start taking them a little more seriously.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Philly gets every Georgia and Alabama player known to mankind.
I'm going to miss Will Levis memes. Yeah, well, don't worry. Maybe Cam will get injured. You can watch it more, and you can just drink up my tears like everybody else does. So, okay. Is there another
spread his mayo on top of
Oh,
He has spread the mayo on his coffee grounds.
Okay, you're so high on medicine. You shouldn't be on the show. I'm gonna kick you off. Anyway, so is there any other draft
I'm
pick you like
fine.
really
Stop it.
like you? Is there another draft pick you really enjoyed? Like for me, like Gunnar Helm for the Titans was like huge. I felt like that was just a great get. Is there anybody like that?
I was going to say, speaking of Texas, I like the Jaden Blue pickup.
Oh, good.
As much as people have tried to talk me off of it because of his antics off the field, I'm like, he's a really good running back. Once it comes to actually playing football, I've seen this guy for the last 3 years in college because one of the biggest games of the year is OU Texas. I'm gonna have to watch him every year. So he did kill us a couple times. So I'm glad he's now playing for a team that I root for, and I can actually root for him because while he was back at to Bijan a couple years ago.
Right.
He's done pretty well on his own. So he had the big run. He had the big run against Clemson in the playoffs that kind of sealed their win, and it was kind of crucial in their win against Iowa State too. So he can make the big runs, and especially if you put him behind an offensive line that we'll see what they look like. But I like the attitude that Booker has had since he's gotten drafted. He seems like he's ready, ripped, ready, and ready to go. Has that tiger in him a little bit, that attitude in him, and Micah certainly loves him. I don't know if you've seen the Bleacher Report videos of Micah reacting. No, he wasn't really fond of the pick at first, but after doing the interview with Tyler Booker, he's like gung ho, ready to go now. So. But yeah, Jaden Blue was definitely one that I liked. And, we got another running back as well, a running back from Clemson. So, that's a good young 1-2 punch at running back. Running back room looks a lot better than what it did last year. And that's a great upside.
No, I agree.
And I know people are going to be on the fact that, they didn't take a wide receiver at all in this draft, but they did get a couple undrafted wide receivers that came in. Turpin's a great punt returner. You still have Lamb. I know Tolbert. I think this is a prove-it year for him. For me, he did have a couple big moments last year, but if he's going to be your bona fide number 2 wide receiver, it has to be a prove-it year for him this year.
I got you.
I'm not saying he's reached Traylon Burt. I'm not saying he's reached Traylon Burt's territory, but he'll get there if he doesn't get his act together this year.
No, I got you. Okay. The outside perspective, I liked your draft. I thought it was fine. I didn't feel I was kind of dubious about a wide receiver. I felt like you should get one somewhere, especially there were pretty good ones late. Didn't seem like people were going to get wide receivers until later anyway. And they did. And I'm happy about that because I ended up with the guy that
the one I wish we got.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, Sam. The one I wish that they got was was it the kid that went to Alabama but then transferred to Texas last year? I think he was like a 5th, 6th round wide receiver. Mm-hmm. You could have used one of your late picks on him, maybe right. Potentially that you could have gotten, but I mean the wide receiver class this year, to be honest, it really wasn't that spectacular. It wasn't as deep or as solid as the running back class. So, I mean, other than Tet and other than Tet, Matthew Golden, and of course Luther Burden, there wasn't really much wide receiver hype in this draft.
I'm not super high on Luther Burden. I've watched that guy play, and don't get me wrong, there's some talent there, no doubt about it. But he seemed to be breathing really heavy a lot, even through simple routes. And I think he's going to really struggle with his route running in the professional game. but we'll see. Call me a liar maybe by the time it gets in there and starts like catching touchdown after touchdown. Okay. From your outside perspective, how do you think the Titans did? I'll ask that question.
So this is something that might be a controversial statement
Oh
for
boy.
other people that might be watching this, but I think Cam Ward is in the best situation to succeed out of any rookie quarterback
Woo-hoo.
this
You're
year,
not
and
alone in
maybe
that
out of any
statement.
rookie player in this draft.
You're not alone in that statement. Chris Sims
And
said so.
I know you've expressed your anger and
Skeptical.
frustration over
I'm
his
quite skeptical.
coverage, his coverage being kind of wiped under the rug because of another certain
Oh, yeah.
other quarterback. But let's not forget, Cam Ward was a zero star recruit that made it onto that was a backup in Texas and played very well enough to get a job at Nebraska and then get a job at Miami. So
Right.
this is a kid who you earned his way, earned his path. Almost got Miami to the playoffs. Kind of helped develop a struggling program in Nebraska for a little bit. So he does have experience with that. And quite frankly, why is he in the best position out of any rookie in this class? Because what did Tennessee do all offseason? We're going to restructure the offensive line. We're going to restructure our defense. We're going to give this kid a lot of weapons. We're going to draft a lot of young defensive players to kind of help round out our roster. We're going to get younger. We're going to get more physical. We're going to do everything we can to help this kid succeed.
It's really funny you said that because that was word for word what the head of football operations, Chad Brinker, said today, or as we like to call him, Brock Lesnar Jr. He's like a skinnier Brock Lesnar if you ever look him up. But he said the same thing. He goes, look, I know we're all really excited it's a first-round draft pick, but, he's got to go out there and earn it. And he realizes that and stuff like that. And somebody on the radio goes, well, Lord Moon gave him his number. He goes, I know. He kind of rolled his eyes at that because he's going to have to earn that starting job. It doesn't just come to you. You got to earn it. You should beat the mayonnaise man. But I also laugh when they say, we don't know who's starting yet, blah, blah, blah. You know darn well who's starting. You know who's starting. You know what people are excited to see. And it's going to take an absolute just swing and a miss if he's not ready to go. It's going to take an absolute swing and a miss. So, got some film study. They did some.
The best sign for you, Sam. The best sign for you and the Titans fan base is the fact that Warren Moon let him have number one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
If Warren Moon gives him his seal of approval, that must mean he knows something about this kid that could potentially be big. So, I'm thinking that Cam Ward could be fine. He could be, the Jaden Daniels or the CJ Stroud of this draft class, which, finally the number one pick becomes, the top value pick in the draft. So
if only they talk about it.
No. Some kid in the 5th round got more beat noise for some reason. I don't know.
What I
don't know. Don't know who this guy is or what his last name is.
Well, and now everybody's trying to backpedal, but ESPN, I feel like Mel Kiper needs to be talked to, but maybe he has, I don't know. But Rich Eisen said we spent a lot of time talking about Cam before his draft pick, and that's why we did it. And people are calling BS on that because, you could talk about what he could do and stuff like that, but he didn't do it. And he tried to back – him and Todd McShay were trying to walk it back, but it still doesn't happen. And I guarantee you the Titans' new head of PR was not happy. I would imagine there was a call to the league. They did this to us before when we were in the playoffs in 2019, and they had a promo with all the teams on there, and they showed the Titans for 1 second, and they showed all the other teams for like 12. And so after that Titans PR call.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, the new commercial came out. No, look at that. Oh, it's Derrick Henry. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. Stuff like that. It's always funny in that like thing. Small
Yeah,
market.
they're only going to market. They're only going to market the teams that give them the most money.
Right. Yep. And it's an unfortunate part of it, but just got to find a way to get back in there. So, where does that lead you? Where? Sorry, I'll have to look up my co-host questions here. I had all my questions. Dakota Prescott. Is this it? Is this the last year? Is this it? We're riding off to the sunset like Cowboys should.
Nah, he's still got a couple more years left.
Hey, Pinsman Sports.
I don't understand why it's such a big deal about with Dak. Because I mean, we haven't won a Super Bowl. I get that, but you look at the list of quarterbacks we have that haven't had success since Troy Aikman left. The fact that we got 2 hits in Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, I'm okay with that. As somebody was too young to not know the championship success that the Cowboys had in the '90s, I'm like, well, Dak's mediocre. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does struggle late in games sometimes, but you know what? He also has the best fourth quarter passer rating in the entire NFL, better than Patrick Mahomes. So, when the game's on the line, yes, you're gonna call one of two people. You're gonna have Dak Prescott, or you're gonna call Patrick Mahomes.
Oh wow!
Or Jalen Hurts. One of those three quarterbacks.
Yeah, I got you. No, I mean that makes sense. Oh wow, he did get busted open. Sorry, I just now caught up to that point. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
what a jump! What a jump!
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's like you're like an hour behind, Sam. You're like an hour behind.
I started up. I'll watch it. Look, I got kids and stuff. All right, it's not the easiest. Pinsman Sports, I think, is right. That Dak is the best option for Cowboys. I happen to agree. It's like, what do you want him to do? I mean, it's like us having to draft Cam Ward, right? Everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't draft Cam Ward. I'm like, okay, who should I draft then? Like, who do you want me to have? Destined to work on timing. What year is he in? Is this year 6? Year 7? What year are we in with Dak?
Year 9, actually. He's the longest tenured quarterback in the NFL. Longer than Patrick Mahomes by a year.
All right.
But don't forget that he was out 2 full years almost. One full year and then 1 year where he got the injury in 2020 where I feel like had Dak stayed healthy that year, not only do we win the division by default because the division was just that bad that year, but I think maybe Mike McCarthy actually is still the coach at this point. So who knows?
Well, here's the only deal: if it's timing, that's his problem. It's year 9. He's very unlikely to change as a quarterback. Year 9, most quarterbacks change all the way up to year 4 or whatnot.
Well, so and then look at his weapons throughout his career. Look at his weapons that he's had. I mean, first year coming in, you had Des Bryant and Jason Witten, who were mainstays on the team for years.
Yeah, and very reliable.
You had your buddy Zeke, who was drafted the same year as you, and you both put up great rookie numbers that year. So you had a stacked team. Didn't have a good defense the first 3 years he was there until Dan Quinn got there in 2020. So then the defense got better. You made the trade for Amari Cooper. The 1 year, I want to say it was 2021, where you had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and he played for Cedric Wilson. all his receivers, and there was talk that all 4 of those guys could potentially get 1,000 yards because of how good they were, especially when Dak got hurt the year before and Rush had to come in with those guys. So
right, yeah,
2021 was probably your best opportunity. 2021 was probably your best opportunity. If I remember correctly, that was the year they had almost came back and won in LA against the team that eventually went to the Super Bowl. So,
I get it.
And then that 2016 game against Pittsburgh was one of my favorite games of all time as a Cowboys fan. Because
I guess
the back and forth was great. I was living with a Steelers fan at the time, so that 2016 game against Pittsburgh was great.
Did you stop living with a Steelers fan after that game?
No. He took the loss on the chin. I was just like, you're 3 All-Stars and couldn't beat 2 rookies, so.
Gotcha. Do you foresee him like he's just going to wear the Cowboy jersey until he retires, right? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I don't think he's going to want to play anywhere else. I don't think Jerry's going to want to get rid of him. I do not see Dak leaving anytime soon, especially now with who you have as his backup. Joe Milton's going to be a solid backup, I think, but I don't think he's going to overtake Dak at all.
Bazooka Joe's going to win it all, baby. You're going to ride Bazooka Joe.
I will say, had the McCaskies not, tried to do a PR move to bring in Shedeur Sanders, I feel like Jerry would have. But I do think had Shedeur come to Dallas, I actually do think that had Shedeur come to Dallas, I think he would have learned a lot and would have been beneficial to learn from a Dak Prescott, a guy who's not as rambunctious and boisterous out there in the media, a guy who's humbled. My thoughts on Shedeur was like the 2 guys he definitely should have talked to during that whole process. The 2 guys that he should have talked to were, I'll throw 3. Patrick Mahomes for one, best quarterback in the league. Who better to get the best advice from than the best quarterback in the league and Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
But, the other 2, Dak Prescott finished second in MVP voting last year. No, not last year, but the year before. And then a guy who just won the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts. Especially in the fact that Hurts slid to day 2 in the draft. Dak was a day 3 pick. So it's like you could definitely get a lot of advice and a lot of learning experience from those 2, for sure.
Absolutely.
And especially since Dion has connections with the Cowboys organization. It's like it's right there.
Do you have an opinion on the Sanders thing? I've seen so many things about Shedeur Sanders. I'm sick of it. But have you got an opinion on it? Do you think he was just not interviewing well or what? Because I do feel like he should have gone before some of those guys picked. But it didn't work out that way. And then he ends up with the Browns where his dad said in March, boy, I wouldn't play for them. We'd have to pull an Eli or something. It's just a horrible look. Absolutely horrible. But I don't know. Your thoughts on the Shedeur Sanders?
Two things that I think killed Shedeur's draft momentum were Dion in the media trying to hype him up and his interviewing process.
He could.
And if you're a wide receiver or defensive back and you go out there with swagger and moxie, I get that. But as a quarterback, you are expected so much more. And this is coming from a guy that played quarterback in high school. you are expected to do so much more as a quarterback. Not only are you expected to know the plays, know the changes, know the routes, know everything. You're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the leader of the team, and when you're essentially throwing your team under the bus in interviews, that's not a good look. It's not.
Right.
And that on top of, everything Dion tried to do, as far as the media is concerned, Shador should have been at the very least a day two pick. He should have.
Right.
But because of all of this bad PR that Dion was throwing out there and all the bad interviews, teams were like, as much as this kid could be really good, as much as this upside is good, do we really want the character there? And it's nothing against Shador. He's a good. He's humbled himself up. He's shown that he's gone out there. He started working out. He started throwing passes, running routes with guys. He's shown that he can go out there into the community in Cleveland and take it on the chest, of course. So he got a little bit of humble pie. Now he's going to be competing, probably for the number 2 job behind Joe Flacco at the moment. But would it surprise me if Shador ends up being the starter for the Cleveland Browns at some point this year? It would not surprise me at all. Especially with the quarterbacks that they have. Can you say that him and Dylan Gabriel will have a good competition? I really do think so, because as someone who's seen Dylan Gabriel 2 of the last 3 years, I think it would be a great battle between those two. So, do I think Shador could have success in Cleveland? Absolutely.
If I'm him, I'm just putting my head down and going to work. I don't care about anything else. Like I'm just gonna put my head down, memorize the playbook, and get my job done. That's what I'm going.
I'm not even gonna if they mention the name Deion Sanders if I'm Shador and they mention the name Deion Sanders, I'm ignoring the question.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not answering any questions about my family. I'm not answering any questions about the process of me getting drafted. I'm here. I'm just saying I'm here. I'm ready to go, and I'm just wanting to get an opportunity.
I understand. Yeah, I think that's the best thing that we can all do, to be sure. Let me see here. Who won? Did your Texas Rangers win by any chance?
No. Oh, they're getting walloped right now. It is 10-0 Seattle.
I lost late to the Blue Jays. They hurt J-Ram. They hurt him. They took him down. He got smacked with a ball while it was being thrown to first base. I was like, ow, that looks painful. But anyway, boy, you and I in our
it probably was.
Oh, you and I in these baseball teams just have us going to drown in a bottle of Jack Daniels or something. Oh, man. Rough stuff. Alan, what do you have coming up? I know what you're doing tomorrow. I can tell you what you're doing tomorrow.
So tomorrow, potentially, depending on what Tanner says, lock it in Saturday morning, Sunday morning on the Rec Room channel, Rec Room Sports. I'm not sure. He might not be able to yell at me. And then you and I will be back Saturday night to do On the Met and talk SmackDown. So
because it's Tiffy time.
Yeah. It is Tiffy time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything runs on Tiffy time.
Everything, you pervert. Anyway, that's the same for me. Catch us both tomorrow, catching up on the SmackDown that was on tonight. And you can also catch us on Tuesday where we will, if I can use my words, where we will recap Monday Night Raw. Thanks for coming on.
We will rock you.
We will. Anyway, enjoy your Fridays, everybody. Wow, the crowd is in love with Tiffy. Wow. Not as much as me, but they're in love with her. I'll give them that.
I mean, can you blame them?
No, I sure can't. If you see the logo changing up, I'm doing a lot of things with the logo here. I'm trying to be more festive. I also added a nice little thumbnail for this one and all kinds of stuff. So just keep up with us.
You've been taking logo 101 from Tanner, haven't you?
I really have. He's been sending me some stuff. He had one with lightning bolt to it. It was a chat GPT one or whatever it is, and I'm like, I can't do anything with that.
I see you have the mandatory 30-second intro that he recommended too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just working on a bunch of different stuff right now. Just trying to make this thing work. If you do not mind, I would appreciate a like and subscribe, everybody, on my YouTube page. I would like it on my Facebook page, but no pressure or whatever. I'll take credit. I can't escape your Roman Reigns finger point. I just can't escape it. No matter what I do, it follows me. It haunts me.
Acknowledge the tribal chief.
You're gonna hurt your back. You're gonna hurt your back. All right, get some sleep, birthday boy. We got stuff to do. For Sam Dean, aka Mr. First Down. See, look, he's got the black lung pop. He's done. For Alan Perez, aka Alan the Paralyzer, I am Mr. First Down. Thank you for joining us tonight for Fanboys Unleashed. We will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.